We're gonna just dive in. No party topic today. No drop. We're just gonna talk about what we've been playing. So we're gonna round robin between us. Which one you guys would like to go first? It's Chris. Ding ding ding. All right,
Me,
Chris.
I would like to go first.
You play video games. You should tell us about them.
I have played a video game. I believe it describes itself as a video game. I beat Norco. This 6 to 7 hour experience, point and click adventure storytelling conduit. Man, what to say about this game is one of the weirder games I've ever played. People often like put it next to stuff like um, Disco Elysium, but it is its own weird beast. It's its own weird, like hyper religious thing. Um, it yeah, it's so interesting. I keep finding myself like, although the game ended, and I was like, huh, like the ending didn't necessarily wrap up things in a way that I was like super satisfied with,
Mm-hmm.
but it did wrap up the story, and it went some
It
places.
technically ended.
It
Interesting.
technically ended. It went places. I wanted to learn more about this thing, this certain thing that I can't spoil, but it never really gave me that bit. But I would love to. I'm trying to find, because this game's sort of niche, and it's an indie game from Raw Fury. It I'm trying to find like a discussion about it, and I can't find it. Like maybe I can find it as like a podcast, an audio podcast or something somewhere. But like on YouTube, you're expecting to see like a Norco ending explained video somewhere, and it just does not exist.
Yeah.
Um, so um, I was hoping it would be there because like so many people were talking about this being like their second favorite game of the year behind Elden Ring. Like right when it came out, a lot of gaming nerds were talking about it in that light. Like, just saying like people that are into like really weird games or very like um intellectual games. I don't know how to I
I I
think
feel
they're
like either rock paper shotgun or maybe uppercut crit does have a little bit more of a deep dive into the game. Might check that
yeah,
out.
because like some of the reviews and stuff I saw, or like one video, like I was like, ooh, a video essay, I'll watch that. And I click on it, and the guy is just like, oh, I don't want to. I'm not going to spoil anything here, and I'm just going to talk loosely about the themes and blah. And I'm like, no,
Give me the good stuff.
I want everything. Like, spill the beans. Like, I need to know more about what I just experienced. I guess I could look up a wiki for it. It'd probably be good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but a
there's probably
wiki's
like
not
a
really
fan wiki or
analysis.
something somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, you
Yeah.
could probably find something, but I'm surprised you've had trouble finding it because this is, like you said, such a. I mean, it is a niche thing, but it's gotten good reception, and usually smaller creators jump all over that stuff.
Better head to the
Yeah,
dark
and
web.
right, and that's what I was hoping for. I haven't been able to find it yet. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It means I just probably looked for an hour and was like, all right, can't find it. Moving on. But yeah, it's super interesting. The writing's really, really good. It is all, you have to read it all. It's not voice acted or anything. Um, but yeah, the game is really interesting. I would say if you're into weird cinema or games that kind of make you think about stuff in interesting ways, I would at least give it a shot. I know it's not going to be for everybody. Like me saying, "Hey, give it a shot." Um, it's pretty fucking weird. Like I don't know what else to say about it.
I think the
There's
word that you were looking for is cerebral, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cerebral. That's it. Yeah, the like there's a lot of religious overtones and stuff in it. There's a lot of weird bird creatures that talk to you. Yeah, it's weird.
Oh,
It's a
so it's The
weird
Legend
game.
of Zelda. Got it.
Yes, It is exactly like The Legend of Zelda without the action or rolls.
In one very specific way.
Yeah. It's really cool though. Like once again, like this will be something that when you're like checking out Game of the Year podcasts and videos and stuff at the end of this year, people are definitely going to be talking about this game. And that'll probably be where I get to get all the in-depth, juicy talk I want out of it, you know.
Yeah.
And people are just saving it for that. But yeah, it's cool. Like I said, it's only like 6 to 7 hours. It just took me forever because I was so busy. But it is a quick one, so you can get in and just knock it out if you want. Totally story based. Some loose combat stuff where you're like, I think you saw just a minute ago. He was time clicking on stuff. It was like counting down 1, 2, 3, and he clicks on it and things like that. But it's all story. So it's a good little noir thing if you like mysteries and stuff.
Yeah, it
Sweet.
what was it described as, like a Southern Gothic pixel art game?
Yeah, and it's like it takes place in Norco, Louisiana, in this town called Norco that's like just ravaged by a oil company, and like how that affects and changes people's lives. And it's also like um, near future as well. There's some robots and stuff like that. But like here, this just looks like a house from the 90s. You know what I mean? This doesn't look any different than what we have today. But yeah, it's got some interesting stuff. It's like one of those ones that even though I don't know that I can say I enjoyed it or like really satisfied by the ending or anything like that, but it's one I still like think about every once in a while. Does that make sense?
Oh, totally.
Like it got my brain working in a way I wasn't really prepared for.
Cerebral.
Yeah, I mean, I've been
Yes.
thinking about
Cerebral. There's that word again. Oh, you said the word. Oh.
Roll credits.
I've been thinking
I know.
about that Backbone game that I wish I liked more. Also a noir game. Yeah, I think about that a lot. I mean, I've spent more time thinking about it than I did playing it. Feels like. Just wish
This game is
that game
better
was
than
better.
Backbone.
Oh,
I can
yeah.
for sure say.
Yes. Yeah.
Just writing alone. There's a whole part later on in the game, and this isn't spoiling anything, but there's this drunk like private investigator that's trying to help you out, and he like starts getting in an argument with somebody where they just keep saying bruh before they talk. So they're like, bruh, blah 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 blah. And then they like come back and he's like, bruh, blah, 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 blah. Like
I
it's just
love that.
very fucking like it's like people that are supposed to talk a certain way, and like it's very there's some good little humor bits in it for sure. Like that same private investigator, like the building that he's in, his office desk is right here, and a toilet is right next to it, and the wall is crumbling in between the other business. So he
Oh
like is
no.
telling you like, yeah, that other business could totally see me when I'm on the toilet, but I think they like it. I think they watch.
Oh no.
Like it's just like it's a wild game. It's interesting. Check it out if you're into like short story based things. If you just want to knock something out. I think it's only on PC and Xbox. It may not even be on Xbox. I just know that Xbox had a release trailer for it, so it might only be PC still because
It
it is
was.
point and click.
Yeah, I don't remember if it's on console too. Never mind.
But the artwork,
It is Game
like
Pass, so.
as you can tell here, is very very nice for pixel art stuff. If you're a pixel art fan, play through the whole game because you'll see some stuff you'll just be like, "Holy shit! Wow, that was something." If you just want to have the pixel art drip feed of "Show me more cool pixel art," this game has a ton of it. So yeah, that's Norco. It's on Game Pass. Play that ish. I think it's like $20 on Steam or something like that if you don't have it.
Heck yeah.
If you don't have Game Pass, why?
Why?
Yeah, I mean, if you've been listening to us long enough, we've been kind of pushing that in.
I actually I think I have it now, but I was thinking about letting my Game Pass expire for a couple months because I've just got plenty of other stuff to play.
Yeah.
But I decided to keep it because Halo Infinite's on there, and I'm like, well, I do kind of want to play that, and Back for Blood's on there as well, and I really want to play more Back for Blood. But yeah, it was a weird thought. I was like, man, after all this hashtag not an ad, but could be Game Pass content we've had over the past year. I was surprised to have a moment where I was like, could I imagine a life without Game Pass?
Jacques.
And don't worry. I'm just thoughts, just talking here, you know.
I'm calling security.
Well, that's Norco. So wait, what, Chris? What did you play it on? You said you played it on Game Pass?
Yeah, I played it on Game Pass. Yeah, and I think it's only on PC. I don't know that it's on Xbox Game Pass.
Right, because they do have like the two versions of where it's like PC Game Pass, and then okay.
Yeah, I think it's a PC only game for now, but based off of like how well it was received and it won a Tribeca Games Award and stuff, like it'll be put out on other stuff for sure.
Yeah. Well, great. Carlos, do you want to go next? Do you want to talk about Triangle Strategy?
Yes. After missing a couple games that I could have talked about on previous podcasts, I decided to go back to the one that started it all for the year for me. That's Triangle Strategy. I put a solid 10 or 12 hours into it this week, and yes, it's exactly the game that we all expected it to be, and it's what I really need right now to hold me over until Xenoblade comes out. So, Triangle Strategy is just god awfully good. It's also a god awful amount of dialogue. The amount of actually voiced lines in this game are ridiculous. It does the whole Octopath Traveler thing of being very British, but also I don't know. I don't even know. Like they say they use some words in very specific ways, and I don't know if it's a particular dialect I'm just missing. But like the word jail is GAOL in this game. The word
that's like Shakespearean. Okay.
Yowl.
Wow.
The word
this is the future that people who say GIF wanted.
Yeah, like the word domain is like a part of a kingdom. A domain is spelled demain, like DESMENE or something like that. Like it's just
That's new to me.
it's very very odd, but it's refreshing in its own little way. It does have a lot of the Final Fantasy Tactics vibes, but it's just ultra serious. Like it is playing through Game of Thrones in turn-based tactical combat. And so far in my 15 hours of play, honestly, I think I've actually fought 5 or 6 battles.
Oh
my god.
Okay.
Yeah. So and so far I think it's chapter 6, I believe, chapter 6 or 7. There's like 21 chapters. And
is it more like when you give that amount of time with that number of fights, the first thing I think of, having not played this in like a decade, more than a decade, is Pokemon if you like only fought the gym leaders. Like it kind of sounds like you're just doing a lot of stuff in between, learning new mechanics, meeting new people, and then you have a big confrontation before you move on.
That's the funny thing. Like in a Fire Emblem game, you have a ton of side things you can do in between the major story beats. Here, you do not. I don't know if that's going to hit at like chapter 10 or something, but so far the major incident that just happened is basically the inciting incident of the war that encompasses these 3 domains in this world here, and I just now got side story options, and they're not even side story options. It's just something that I can go watch this quick little snippet of dialogue between me and this new character that's just joining my party because I need it to happen. Because I need another magic user that uses these wind attacks instead of the pyromancer that I already have in my party. So I am pretty sure it does open up. It just hasn't yet, which is still surprising at 15 hours in. But it's just quality. It's one of those things that you watch this trailer and you're like, who the hell made this? And somebody says, somebody tells you that Square put money into it, and you're like, oh yeah, that's how they do that. That's right. Because yeah, it's just absolute quality through and through. I didn't know if I would be able to get back into it just because when I first hopped in, it was a little dull, but it's getting right back into my good graces, just like any other tactics game would. Because I played Fate Tactics earlier this year. I played a little bit of Fire Emblem, uh, the OG NES Fire Emblem earlier this year. I went back and played a little bit of Three Houses this year. Like, I should be tactics RPGs out, like just done. But no, it's getting back to being pretty satisfying with just the quality that's there. It's exactly the same tactics turn based action that you would expect from any of the big name titles. It's not Disgaea. It's a Final Fantasy, really. um, so that's really all there is to say about it. I'm sure the story is going to get really, really good eventually. Right now, it's just a whole lot of talking and a whole lot of figuring out which of these characters am I going to need to give a shit about throughout this whole playthrough. Because my party is like nine people long right now, so it's getting complicated.
Lol.
I've kind of held back on like biting the bullet and getting Triangle Strategy because when I got Octopath Traveler, it was right before I went on vacation to visit my mom's side of the family in the Northeast, and that was all I did when I had downtime. That was all I did was Octopath Traveler because it was so engrossing and so like I was absorbed and immersed like right away. And then the 2.5D like aspect of it all is just gorgeous, So I was really able to like lose myself in that game, especially with the music. And I know that Triangle Strategy is going to be the same way. So I'm just like, there's so many other things I want to play right now. I'm going to just hold off until I have another big trip. And then, we'll hold off some more because I'm not trying to get addicted. So,
yeah, it is a literal investment of your time, money, and patience for sure.
Well, let's see. I'm thinking maybe we stick to the single player games first, and then we move on to multiplayer since we have a good mix of those. Um, I'll say something quick about Disco Elysium. That's kind of a similar vibe to Norco. When I was watching the trailer for Norco, of course, the first thing I think of is Disco Elysium because it's a game with gorgeous visuals and then a bunch of dialogue on one side of the screen. Similar to Backbone, and you pick some options there and see how people react to what you say and the decisions you make. You guys here, the three of you have heard me talk about this enough, but to the rest of the world out there, played some more Disco Elysium a little while ago, and the way that game works is you have days. You start on day one, and by the end of day one, you need to find enough money to go to sleep in your hotel bed, your hostel bed. And in day one, it was hard, but then it all worked out. Like the game came up with something. It was like, hey, you didn't make the money you're supposed to, but we kind of have a get out of jail free card here on the first day that you didn't know about. So we're gonna give you this one, and tomorrow you figure your money out. I was like, okay. And the next day comes around, and I've been playing this game so slowly. I've been loving it. It's a great slow burn for me. Unlike Norco, it has a bunch of voice acting, so I can just uh, play that and listen to it while I'm um, like not while I'm doing other things because you definitely need to focus on your attention on it. But I play it super super slowly, where I have the game up while I'm like talking to people in Discord, while I'm watching people on Twitch and all this stuff. And so it'll take me a long time to get through a conversation just because I'm in no rush and I'm generally milking each conversation for about as much as I can get from it. So I've been enjoying that. I say all of that because since I've been playing it so slowly, the pain of getting to the end of the second day and realizing that I turned down too many bribes. I said no to a couple things I probably should have said yes to, and I didn't have enough money to sleep in my bed. Well, I didn't think it was going to be a problem because in the final cut of the game, which is what I have, the one that's fully acted, and it's the final cut. It is the best version of the game. Uh, it is possible to not have enough money to sleep in your bed and therefore not progress the game, and there's nothing you can do about it. And when I looked it up, the solution is to either go back what would be for me many hours of gameplay to the beginning of the day and redo all of those conversations that I already listened to. And I walked through every inch of every one of those conversations. Either I do that again or I download a cheat engine and tell the game that I do have the money. But I got to the end of that day and I was so bummed to find out that that I was locked out from the rest of the game that now I'm just like, man, I think I'm just gonna watch somebody play this. And I have there's at least one Twitch streamer I know who's playing it, and then my friend in Discord is playing it as well. Um, but that's tough for me because I was really sinking in to spend, 100 hours in this game, and now I'm just like, dude, if this is the best version of the game and there is the contingency for this specific thing, because I'm on day 2, it only happens on day 2. It can't happen on day 1, and it can't happen on day 3 or past. It can only happen on day 2. So
Listen,
I'm so
I don't
salty
know
about
that
it.
you were truly in character. I think that was your problem here, Tegan. You were not feeling the
I
character,
never.
and
So it. Yeah, in my playthrough, that I played all the way through, I had super smarty cop because I was like, okay, so this guy's a piece of shit, but like
Mhm.
maybe I can like like clearly he was like a good cop at one time, and there's a reason why he's you know well known, besides his like crippling alcoholism and addiction.
Yeah.
Um, so I was like, I'm gonna make him really smart and like almost like Sherlock Holmesy. Um, and I was like rolling in money. So I don't know what happened, Thomas, specifically in yours, where you couldn't get any money.
Yeah.
But I am excited to play through and like have you on board and be my co-pilot as I dive full into electrochemistry
Oh my
uh,
gosh.
and see where that takes us. Because apparently, um, drugs in that game have no ill effect really on you except for your health. But if you spec, your health is always super high, so you'll be fine.
Right.
And it only gives you positive boosts. So
Wow.
we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm interested to watch it because there's lots of stuff I like about the game. I just don't want to have to go back and do stuff. The
Yeah,
explanation for like why I didn't take those bribes and all that stuff, because other people online also said, "Hey, there are tons of opportunities for money. This shouldn't be a problem." And then there were other
yeah,
people like me who were like, "No, I'm telling you, I don't have the money. Like, what do you want from
yeah,
me? Just give me one more chance." And yeah, so I definitely want to see more of what the game has to offer. I really liked building my noir uh sorry cop. In the final cut you have different like categories that it gives to you and it tracks your stats based on um are you a superstar cop? Are you a sorry cop? Are you a very threatening cop? And then whatever the fourth one is. The other big thing is are you communist, ultra liberal, uh, a couple other things. Whatever the other political ideologies are. But there's all that, and then there's HoboCop was one of the types of cops. So that's why I was like, oh, even if I don't get enough money for this, the game has alluded to the fact that I can sleep on a park bench if I need to. But
but you took that as an option.
yeah,
That's
because
the key.
because the dude who was trying to give me the bribe, he was like, he was threatening me. Well, it was like a, kind of a bribe, kind of blackmail, and I'm like, bro, I don't like you. I'm not taking your money. I have standards, and then I just regretted that I had standards. So it was a struggle, but yeah, Chris, I'll watch you play that. I really liked. I put a bunch of points in the shivers category, which is how you like talk to the city. So that's the most noir part of that whole character because he'll like um his inner thoughts, the way that game works, his inner thoughts will basically monologue a noir story to you, where it's like
Oh,
a cold breeze blew in through the shattered window. You can imagine a scene where, and then it describes this scene of like who you think may have lived in that busted ass apartment, years ago or months ago.
with like sultry saxophone in the background.
Oh, not that one. But in the trailer, the game has great music. I mean, Carlos and I talked at length about the music in there, and in our minimalist episode, the minimalism in music a little while ago, and there's so much to enjoy. And in the game's trailer, you can see a bunch of music-oriented stuff. The shining example is that your character can get up and sing on the microphone. And there are a bunch of other like musical numbers. That's not really the best description, but they're like scenes. Like they're very much specific situations that are going to play out regardless of how you pick your character. And I'm looking forward to those, but now I'm just going to have to play co-pilot and watch Chris do it. So if I was on Demo Duo, this would be a watch for me. That's
I
all I'm
really like
saying.
how the choices to solve your problem are basically like its own Disco Elysium like choice thing. It's like you either do the good thing and go back in time and correct your mistakes, or you just cheat and then
Yeah, live with the
break the game.
guilt. Yeah,
It's an ARG. They brought it to the real world now.
Yeah.
it is. So yeah, hopefully I'll see more of that. It's interesting to have the conversation as a streamer to be like, how does this fit into my gaming world? Do I play it offline? Do I play it online? It's got a bunch of really heavy uh, themes, and it's a lot of talking and listening.
Language.
Yeah, yeah. So it's tough, but no, Chris, I would look forward to this. Chris, what did you play in your first playthrough? What kind of character did you make?
I was like a
Wasn't
mentalist.
it like that? Oh, okay. I thought it was like the barbarian or whatever that just kind of brute forced his way through everything.
Oh,
No,
that's my buddy
I
in
was.
Discord, Beefy Strongman.
Yeah, I was like a genius cop. Like I could like foresee things. I could like piece together crime scenes. Like because I was like, oh, so you're a detective, so you have to be able to do these things.
Yeah.
So that's where I spec'd my character. I did a custom character. I didn't do any of the 3 base ones. I made my own, but yeah, it was all like intuition, inland empire, like that kind of shit. Like um one of those is like the city, like you are from the city, the city, like
Mhm.
about street smarts and like these kind of things, and you like can piece together crime scenes, and you have good intuition of like people that are bullshitting you and stuff. Like so I went full like this guy's actually a really great detective. He's just such a piece of shit, you know?
Yeah, and
Like,
he's having
that's
the
the
worst day. He's having a
yeah.
rough life.
No, worst day. I was gonna say like multiple months of terrible. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to like redeem him in some way.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but now that I know that you can play it the opposite, like I knew you could play it the opposite way, but like kind of just being a big dumb, really strong, constantly smoking cigarettes and on drugs detective also sounds like a very interesting way to play that game and makes you problem solve in a different way. And just seems it's interesting that that game allows you to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's Disco Elysium. Carlos, let's swing back to you. You played some Disc Room.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the game that I knew I would love for a long time, and a game that I knew would also be that sweet, sweet, weird shit that I will obsess over for a few days. Disc Room, yeah, Disc Room came out in late 2020, um, and right when it was released, Special Reserve Games, who does a lot of the physical releases for the Devolver titles,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Praise be unto
announced.
them.
Praise be.
Oh
Praise
yeah,
be.
oh yeah. Just a side note. Inscription is coming.
Oh yeah.
Physical.
Wow.
Cult of the Lamb, as well, which hasn't released IRL yet, and Card Shark. So yeah,
Oh,
big stuff from Devolver and Special Reserve Games.
you shared that tweet the other day, right? Of Daniel Mullins, the Inscription character creator, being like, "Yo, Card Shark's good game."
Yeah, he made a little video for them. He added the stoat into the card shark into a card shark meme. It was pretty great.
Love it.
So yeah, Disc Room. When I realized it was going to be a special reserved game, physical release, I was like, all right, fine. I'll hold off. And I held off, and I held off, and I held off, and they had their second chance sale, which is always like a full 8 to 10 months after their original pre-order of each game, because I was not going to be able to wait that long after buying it, and I got it, and you can actually see it. It's right there. It's right there. That's
Oh.
my special reserve games disc
Hey.
room. It's fucking beautiful. It's phenomenal, and it fits the game perfectly because disc room is this incredibly hardcore, just technically roguelike situation where there are 50 total rooms, and the entire point is you have objectives in each room, and you just have to die. You just have to die, and
That's the only way
uh,
to go. You just go as long as you can until you can't.
basically, so each room has a specific goal, but most of them are like survive 10 seconds, survive 20 seconds, survive 30 seconds, or get killed by this many different kind of discs.
What?
Because they're actually like the lore of it, there's great lore in it, but it's not really presented in a way outside of like
Oh, you got to read the item
just
descriptions.
text and stuff. Yeah,
This
it
is an
is.
Elden Ring game.
No, but you're gonna love the flavor text. Specifically, you Tegan are gonna fucking love the flavor text. And so these discs are technically sentient, um, and they come in a huge variety of ways. Like some of them are just like a gigantic buzzsaw disc, and that's as simple as it gets, right? But some of them are uh, think of the teeth of a buzzsaw, but around a fleshy, uh, like amoeba like creature,
Ew.
which I don't know if they're in the. I think there are a couple in this video, but as you can see, there's just a ton of different kind of discs throughout the game. They do different things. They maneuver in different ways, and it's so fast. It's frenetic. It is a little psychotic. There are a few story beats that are presented in fun little comic book style cutscenes,
Fun.
and it's just a
It's like
little sci-fi
Cube.
story. Yeah, uh, and it is just weird, and it's fantastic. It's very much like it feels a whole lot like Smash TV, with
Yeah.
how you're opening up the rooms and stuff. And honestly, I would fucking love if it was co-op. That would just be killer. But as you can see, that the goal on
Oh my
that video, it
gosh.
said "feed for question marks," and so there are these things in a couple of the rooms that just pop out of the ground and just eat whatever's on top of them. It is absolutely wild. It's overall technically a short experience, but there are a whole shit ton of accessibility options. You can adjust the speed of yourself, of the discs, of the spawns. You could take everything down to nothing on the speed if you need to make the game a little bit easier for yourself. Um, and you could even play through the harder difficulties that way, which is phenomenal. Because once you beat the game the first way through, uh, you do open additional difficulties.
That's cool.
And I completed, I think, about 40 rooms out of the 50 at the normal speed, and then once I got to that point, I was like, I have to complete the game officially, and I took it down to 30% because the last 10 rooms were holy shit hard. Just super intense. But if you need to stretch out your flexing muscles, you know, if you need to get the quick twitch reflexes out of a game and not be like a first person shooter, play something like Disc Room. It is so good for that.
Dope. Yeah,
Yeah,
I liked what I saw. I liked the clip that you shared of you just running around until, well, you got ate by one of
it
those
was
ground things.
inevitable.
Yeah. Yeah, I like those types of games. I'm glad that there is still plenty of room for those. Like, they're not, the simplicity of those games is their strength, not their weakness. So to see To see one that has a cool art style and that you're playing in here the year of our Lord 2022 does my heart some good.
Yeah, and Disc Room is normally $20. You can often find it for around 10 or 12. Over the past week or two, however long the developer sale was, it was $7.50. Now y'all missed it, but
Oh
you
man.
know,
Womp womp.
it
Well,
is on Switch and PC everywhere.
okay.
Sweet.
So that is Disc Room. Devi, let's hear what you've been playing. Do you want to talk about Switch Sports?
My new obsession? Yes, let's talk about it. At like extensive length. Let's do it right now.
Perfect.
You know what? I'm just gonna take y'all to a field right now and we'll play. So Nintendo Switch Sports recently came out and I am just super enamored with it. It has all of the charm of like the old sports games. Like I think Wii Sports is like the fan favorite because there was another one that came out too, wasn't there?
Yeah, Sports Resort.
Sports
Yeah,
Resort.
yeah.
Sports
So
Resort.
I would say this one is more similar to the original Wii Sports, but they have the soccer, volleyball, tennis, chambara, which is like a sword fighting arena sort of thing,
I love that
which
drink.
plays a lot like it plays a lot like what you would imagine. Like if you've ever seen The Legend of Korra and you've seen like those earthbending competitions or whatever, or I guess pro bending competitions, it's that kind of like arena that like can crumble and you have to like balance your your offense and your defense like that, or you'll fall into like a pool of water. So that's what it reminded me of a lot. And then they
Man,
have badminton.
what if there was an Avatar uh Pokemon crossover where would that just be the last game you ever played where it's like it's Switch Sports, where you've got a crumbling arena but you can like build the arena and use it as weapons, and also you've got Pokemon that match your bending. Wow. This is
If it was made like Battle Network, that would be the last game. I like Mega Man Battle Network. I would, yes,
that's it.
like 100. Like I'd save so much money because I'd never buy a video game ever again.
You're like we'd never see you again because when you're not busy playing it, you're busy like being sponsored by the company to go to conventions to dress up as the characters and spread the word of this wonderful thing. Anyway, I interrupted you.
I mean, I don't not have a Korra cosplay like in the works. And just saying. But I think what was the last part? I'm missing one because I did 5. Bowling. They have bowling.
Yeah.
Which is the one. That's the one that everyone loves. It's the bowling. I mean, at least me and my family. So, it's a lot of fun. They have the pro leagues in this one, which I don't think were present in the last one. So once you play enough matches of any of the modes, you'll get like scouted, quote unquote.
Mhm.
And you'll be able to play in like a sort of ranked mode called, the pro leagues. And you can opt in and out of these modes after you unlock them. So if you don't want to constantly be under pressure to like increase your rank or like try hard at a Nintendo party game, you can opt out of the league and just play casually. But you can earn special accolades and stuff. And I'm not sure if you can get customization options from the leagues, but I know that you can earn special titles from them. So I've been having a lot of fun collecting all the customization options because me and my fashion. I got to be fashionable in all my games.
That's right.
I'm actually, after we're done playing Rogue Company today, I'm going to be grinding out the last of the cute collection, which I have to recollect because I thought you could re-roll the collections because you only get a set amount per player. Like it varies per player. So someone could have a hairstyle that I can't get because it's not part of my particular set of that collection. So I was like, I want this hairstyle. Let me see if I can re-roll for it. So I deleted all of my data and started fresh. And it was just like, welcome back, bitch. And I have the same stuff. So now I have to recollect the cute collection before it expires. And I'm not wearing a watch, but at 11 p.m. today.
I love that in this YouTube video I have the closed caption stuff on, and it's like bowling, and the first thing you see is cheery accordion music playing.
Yeah.
Oh, what is this? Did that say snazzy jazz music?
Snazzy big band music.
Ah.
Yeah, the music in this game is really charming, and it's what's it called? Adaptive. So you know how in like games like Banjo-Kazooie or Mario, where like you're above ground and it sounds a certain way, then you get in the water and it sounds all like quote unquote underwater. So different moods of the game will change the music that plays. So for instance, in soccer, you'll have like the jaunty kind of like big bandy music. And then when you score a goal, it switches to like more like brassy, but like jazz music. I don't know. But it's like the same. It's like adaptive like that. So it's really neat to
That's cool.
experience the atmosphere at like points of excitement like that.
I love
The
that.
motion controls are pretty intuitive as well. I haven't tried the leg with soccer though. I feel like some of the strikes in soccer would be kind of physically impossible. So, like if you put it on your leg, it actually played that way. But otherwise, I mean, Chambara feels like a 1-to-1 ratio. It's so cool. Like you move and you block and you move and you slice and stuff.
It's really funny and gives you the opportunity to meme the hell out of people playing that game.
Yeah.
It's so funny because you can sit here and because you're holding the sword like this, like straight in front of you, you could sit here and you could like wiggle it in front of them, and your your opponent will just be like, I don't know what to. It's the best.
I,
Just play it.
I like to hit them with the what's it called from Futurama with the Fry when he thought he was a robot. The robot
Yeah.
copter. I like the.
Hey, I think the one I'm most interested to play is volleyball. Honestly.
Yeah.
So that one is more like timing based rather
Yeah.
than outright input or reacting.
Okay.
It's not my favorite, but I think it's mostly because I'm not used to it yet. Because
Oh,
I'm
like
used to more playing more like player active games like soccer and bowling, where you're like directly controlling what's going on.
Yeah.
It is slower than you'd hope it would be. Like it feels like you're playing a Mario RPG game because you're you're setting up, but you have to set up like a solid 2 seconds later than you want to. It's definitely different, but each of them has their own thing.
I mean, the first time I popped in and watched you guys playing soccer, I was like, wait, is this in slow motion? Because of course I've watched like Rocket League where you're zooming around and boosting and stuff. And this is just characters running on a big field like normal people, and there aren't like, a zillion people on the field. So everything feels like a little bit more spaced out. But yeah, the first time I saw it, I was just like, is this a joke to you?
No, it gets hard out of the fields. Like Carlos and I were having like some spats.
It
We
was
were having
good.
some
No Mario
spats.
Strikers, that's for sure.
Yeah, this does hold over until that, because after that comes out, and of course after I get all the clothes, I'm probably not going to touch the game. I'm so excited for Mario Strikers, and soccer mode of Switch Sports puts me like right in that mindset, because like it is kind of like a joggy sort of jaunt, but when you use your stamina properly, you can really get some zoom in, and with the headers, like it can be really aggressive.
Our clips were just fucking great. We need to put out more of those because they were funny.
Yeah,
we
I had a
were
good time.
we were really competing, and like every time we thought we had a shot, you would just see one of us just flying down the field, 100% stamina left over, just like let's go, I got you. And then you just see us fucking torpedo across the field head first.
Oh, you're making me use an extra 1% of my power? Okay.
Yeah.
They are going to be adding golf later in a DLC, which makes me excited about the prospects of other sports that are missing. Like, woo, cricket. Who wants some of that? No, just kidding.
I'm not a golf fan, but like one of the games I played most in my PSVR was Everybody's Golf, because that game was
Yeah.
fucking cool.
Yeah, the game is awesome.
So like video game golf is much cooler than in real life golf. So
But
And
can your character get
motion
drunk?
controls.
Ah!
yeah, you can't. Yeah, you just don't drive the cart around in your home.
Dude, there was a golf mini game, because of course there was, in GTA. And I remember like I was about halfway through the course. It was actually really fun. Like the mini games in Grand Theft Auto are always impressive. At least
Yeah.
they were to me. And I got about halfway through and I was like, I think I messed this one up. I'm just gonna run over the other golfers. And I just cruised around the golf course in the middle of the city for like 20 minutes, like narrowly missing everybody, because like they would always see me coming because there's nothing in the way, right? So it was like Benny Hill playing. Yeah, but I love that. Maybe they'll add drunken golf cart next year. They said that the golf was coming to Switch Sports this fall, so maybe the drunk golf cart driving is next year.
Yeah,
So
probably.
what would that be called? Would it be called like Caddy Whack?
Ooh.
Yes, please.
Caddywhack.
Call me for your branding. Hey.
Well, let's see. What have we got? I can talk about Don't Starve. All I would say about that is it's back on top of my favorite. It's my favorite game again. Like the favorite game that I'm playing on a regular basis. We're back into Overwatch, but we're gonna talk about that after this. I'm still playing Rogue Company, which we're going to play after this. But Don't Starve is the game that takes up the most real estate in my head right now. It's the game that I'm always thinking like, well, if I generated a new world with these settings, how would I play differently? And then, which character would I choose? Because they're all very similar, but they've got different strengths, and sometimes those strengths will help or hurt a whole lot. My favorite character, the robot in Don't Starve, just got a big update, and it's nice. That game. So Clay, who made Griftlands, they've made Oxygen Not Included, and they've made Don't Starve, both the single player version and the multiplayer version. Both of those versions of Don't Starve are constantly getting updated and attention. I mean, that game's been out for many years now, and it's constantly impressive. I imagine that Clay would be a great company to work for, based on everything
For
I've
sure.
seen. So, yeah, to me, because I only halfway keep up with what's going on, they out of the blue updated my favorite character. And so he's a robot who, for those not familiar with Don't Starve, you're thrown into a harsh world where you don't know what you're doing and the world is trying to kill you. If it's not the monsters you find, then it's the darkness. You've got to have a torch or a campfire at night. If it's not that, it's the summer where it's too hot and things are catching on fire, or it's the winter where it's too cold and you're going to freeze to death. My robot character, he is very, very vulnerable to water. I'm going to play the cinematic here for you guys. He's very, very vulnerable to water, but he has a bunch of really strong upgrades to balance that out. So to not get into the weeds of it, essentially my character will generate electricity over time. But when they get hungry or if they are wet, they will lose that electric charge, which is the thing that gives me all sorts of boosts I can choose from. I can make my character run faster. I can boost his health bar or his sanity, and a bunch of other stuff in between. But I love the updates to this game because you don't really know how it's going to impact the game. It doesn't really tell you how to play the new character. It says, here is what's possible. Like, basically, imagine a cookbook where it only told you the end result and not the recipe. And in this, Don't Starve lately has been showing you a little more of the recipe. They've been giving us more ways to discover what's possible instead of going to a wiki, which I really like. And it's been fun. It's been fun discovering that my character can become very powerful, but the second it starts raining, I am in danger. Most characters don't care about water unless it's extreme rainy season. Usually doesn't matter that much, but my character, even the smallest amount of rain can kill him. So it's been fun essentially relearning how to play this character because he has a completely different set of priorities. But yeah, that's Don't Starve Together. We've been playing every week for a long time now, and that's going to be moving to Thursdays. So for anybody looking to group up, for those keeping track at home, we now have weekly sessions of Project Zomboid, Don't Starve Together, and Stellaris. There's a crew playing on Discord. Shout out to Odysseus in chat.
Oh, hell yeah. I've been wanting to check that out.
Oh, it's cool. Pop in on a Friday night. If you're talking about Stellaris, because
Yes.
there's a lot going on, and actually, so there are 4 of them playing right now. And something that I love is uh, there's usually more than one person streaming, so I can pop in at any time and kind of get the first person view of whoever I want. But yeah, pop in. It's been nice. It is there's certainly no shortage of stuff to play. Other stuff, just because I don't really need to cover this later. We have people playing Overwatch. We have people playing Rogue Company. We're gonna start playing Back for Blood and Deep Rock Galactic again soon. So this is me putting out the call for anybody looking to group up. You can find our Discord through our website, which is partyinvite.games. Or if you're here in Twitch chat, you can always type !Discord to get those server deets. But lots and lots of stuff to play and watch. But that's Don't Starve. That's enough of that. Debbie, do you want to talk about Overwatch?
Do I want to talk about Overwatch? After all the stuff I've been saying in the last podcast, yeah, let's talk a little about Overwatch. So we got a big group together in the Party Invite Discord to play none other than Overwatch. Pew 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 pew. Like, it's crazy the 180 I did when I figured out that they were like doing all the changes within the infrastructure, because it was just like Overwatch. If Overwatch was a separate game from ABK or whatever the official name is for the company, like I kind of wonder where it would be right now, because there's so much bureaucracy that happens within ABK, especially after the acquisition. So they have to like work around so much red tape. And now that one of my friends is on the Overwatch team, I'm starting to get like anecdotal, like, learn of some stuff by proxy, just because I'm like adjacent to, like, I'm Overwatch adjacent to because of his timeline, because he's always talking about, stuff with the game. So it's I think it would be a very different game, like culturally, if that makes sense. I think that essentially, like mechanically and everything functionally, it'll be the same. But I think its creative approach and what it decides to do with things like modes and like the games as a services or whatever, I think that would be a lot different, honestly. But anyway, we got a group together to play Overwatch, and it was like the best time I've ever had in a really long time, because that game is just fun, especially with a good group of friends,
Yeah.
And like, it was the first time I played in, I think, 2 years. And I'm already bitten again. I want to play more. I want to play more now, and I want to play more later. But of course I can't play tomorrow because, Multiverses is coming out, so I'm going to be all over that. But I just want more Overwatch, and I want it now.
Yeah.
And after we got done playing, I played with one of my friends for like until like 5 a.m. But we were just in a little group chat. And so that was just 2 of us, as opposed to like 4 or 5 of us early on.
Mhm.
And that made things a little more complicated because neither of us were in the team chat. I definitely didn't want to get in the team chat because, as I always say, the internet is weird. And it made me realize how much I can't wait for the ping system in Overwatch 2. Like,
Yeah.
I want to ping stuff. I'm not trying to talk to people I don't know on the internet. I was like the
Mhm.
first thing I learned as a child. Hello?
I mean, shoot, we were playing Overwatch last night, and man, that team chat, or even the all chat, it's just like, whew. If it's not the things people are saying, it's their names. Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, you see stuff and you're like, how is this person not banned yesterday? Like, how did this get here?
There was one guy, I think, in one of our games named Booby Boy. And I was like, really? Really? And I think the question he asked was, are there any E women in the chat? I was
Like, oh, I hate this. Get me out of here.
the nerve of some people. And it kind of reminded me of why I
Yeah,
kind of
there
stayed
is.
away from Overwatch. Yes, you're right.
Indeed.
Because the community is just like so like virulent. And
Yeah.
it's not the best. But hopefully
Uh,
that'll change with all the cultural overhaul, like company culture overhaul they're doing
you
in
know,
ABK.
well, I'll leave the optimism up to you.
Yeah.
If you want.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is when we do have a big squad together, we don't have to really play with strangers. I mean, we can play against them and still, see some weird stuff. But that's been a lot of the reason I've enjoyed Rogue Company a lot more so lately. Because Rogue Company is a 4-player game. Also, we've discussed elsewhere that that game's a little friendlier to single-player noob play, like casual play. Overwatch, a lot of people who've been playing it, who you get grouped up with, even as a new player, they've been playing it for or 10 years or however long this game's been out now. But the nice thing is, like, once you get a full squad, it's the best version of the game, for casual or competitive. And last night we had 4 of us, I think. And we've
Somewhere
got
around there.
more people who've expressed interest. I mean, Chris, you mentioned it. You're like, man, I'm just not trying to play Overwatch without the squad. And since it's a bigger squad, of course, Overwatch 2 has 5-player instead of 6-player, which seems great to me. But I just don't like. I played some solo stuff earlier today, and it's like the game is fine. It's fun. The game's good, but the community, I'm just like, man, you people are still here.
Yeah, I
So
concur completely.
yeah, I'm really really looking forward to having a full 6-stack again. The only bad thing about a 6-stack is as soon as the 7th person shows up and wants to play, well, gotta make some decisions.
And it's going to be even worse when Overwatch 2 comes out, because then if we have, like, if we regularly play with those 6 people, someone's got to go. So,
All
but
right.
we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Right. Dude, it's like it reminds me in World of Warcraft when it would take either 25 or 40 people to show up for a raid, and that's a ton of people. That's bigger than depending on where you're at, it's a classroom of people. It's so many. So like it takes so much effort to get that whole crew together. So then once you overflow and you have too many, it's like, oh no, all of us set aside time to play this, but at least one of us can't.
Ooh.
It's like it really makes that dicey for games that
Just
require a big
for
team.
for future reference, all you have to do is say Bulbasaur is not the best starter, and you'll get in a fight with Sav. So one of you is leaving.
I mean, I'm not going to say I'm going to throw hands, but
She'll
I might throw some feet.
some vines. Yeah.
Throw feet.
It is objectively the best starter, though. I'm just saying.
So we played last night. You said you bought the final Symmetra skin that you didn't have, right? Because
Yes, yes. So one of the principles that I'm still adhering to when I'm playing Overwatch is that they're not going to get any of my money at the moment until I see some like actual substantial change within the culture of the company. But when I logged back in, I had 12340 gold, as in 12,400. I'm sorry, 12,340 like currency.
it's a lot
Just
of gold.
saved up from a lot.
It's a whole lot.
So I noticed that Symmetra got a skin like for the anniversary remix or whatever, and it's a remix of her dragon skin from Halloween.
Mhm.
So instead of like red and orange and fiery, it's like blue green and more marine in nature. And so it's named Hydra. And it's really cool, but I'm not going to use that one because it's not like in my aesthetic, but I still got it because I have every skin for Symmetra because she's my favorite Overwatch character since day one. I immediately like meshed to her. I was just like, I need Symmetra in my life. And then I cosplayed Symmetra. And then I went to BlizzCon just as Symmetra. And then my whole life I just became Symmetra. Y'all, that's it. Like that's
I
it.
like Symmetra a lot too.
I kind of miss when she was a support because I would make the joke that she was an Indian tech support because she's in Indian tech and she was a support, but now she's damaged. And I just really love
Oh,
the change. I love where she is now because she was in such a questionable spot earlier. And
yeah.
she just feels once you have that protection, like from a Zarya or like if you have a Pocket Mercy, oh my God, just run over everybody. It's crazy. It's crazy. Got to get my teleporter online. Open up the path.
Oh yeah.
Well then, let's wrap it up with Chris. You want to talk about Rogue Company a little bit before we hop on there ourselves?
What an amazing segue into what we're going to be doing in a few minutes.
Indeed.
So I think I saw an ad maybe that said, "Hey, new season of Rogue Company," or maybe I got an email. It's like, "Hey, new season right now. Check it." And then I had, while I was on, let's say wrestling sabbatical, I saw that you guys were playing a lot. And I was like, Rogue is like one of those games that has never left my install because I know that eventually I'll come back to it.
Mhm.
Like every time there's a new event, just come back and check it out. So I did that, and I have been playing a lot. A lot. I really like, and I know they started this in I think the last update, but the weapons like leveling up, like you're leveling up the mastery of your weapons. So you're not only doing your battle pass levels, you're doing the gun levels, and you're doing um whatever this new Juke's Gambit thing is. I don't really understand.
It's unclear.
It is very unclear what it is, why it is. It seems to be some story of some kind.
Oh, interesting.
But it's
but
real.
it's like
I guess we'll look
It-
into it tonight, huh?
so this is what all it says. It just says get 100 downs with an LMG, chapter 1. And in chapter 1, it's some lady screaming at Trench, and it says it was the first artificial intelligence, the first sentient computer in the history of the planet. You made the right choice, Juke, Trench replied. But why? Juke snapped. Who would do this?
So
And in
So
order
are
to
we?
Who
progress,
indeed?
you have to get 100 downs with an LMG. Guess what characters I use that don't use LMGs? Luckily,
oh
picking up guns and stuff has become like part of my deal as secret
Hell yeah.
because I only use the pistol.
that's what I'm
I just
talking
pick up
about,
a gun.
Chris. High five. Pistol
Um,
Squad. Wow,
hell
you didn't
yeah.
even high five me. Okay, great. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you.
But
Wow, made it more awkward.
the what I do like about it now is like they have like a grading system of your upgrades on your weapons, on your skills. It like tells you like, oh, this is a like
It's like a
epic
rarity.
version. Yeah,
Yeah.
like a rarity. So also when you're running around the room and you see a gun on the ground and you're like, I don't know if I should pick that up because it would do that to you all the fucking time.
Mhm.
You're like, I don't know if I should pick that up. Now it like tells you the rarity of the gun. So if you see a golden gun
Yeah.
sitting on the ground, you're like, I should probably snag that as my secondary, just in case.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It like gives you
It's really
these
nice.
like, yeah, and the feedback in this game is just the best of any shooter. Like I know what's going on with just by hearing it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Um like I'm like aiming down sights and firing, and I'm sort of seeing that I'm doing nice damage, but then all of a sudden it's like ting 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 ting, that fucking beautiful headshot sound that they do. But it's really good, and I actually feel like now you could actually spec your characters out in a certain way, whereas
Yeah.
before it felt like because they've reworked some of the skills and stuff. So as before, like the skills that you would upgrade are just kind of like, that's okay. Vampirism, all right, it heals 15% or whatever. But once you like stack a few of those, if you're doing well and you have the money to spend on them, you actually like spec a character out.
Or
And
the
that's
flip side of that,
fascinating.
if you're losing, usually by the time you get to the third round, which if you're getting skunked, it's 0-2, and you get to the
Yeah.
third round, and the third round is usually when you can afford enough stuff to actually get your spec, like to
Yeah.
actually get a kit going. So
Yeah.
like even if you're down and you don't have all the money from winning and reviving and killing, you at least get one round where you're like, okay, I've got at least the basis of everything I need. Now let's see how I can do. And usually that third round is a lot of fun. I mean, in a lot of games, if you play Halo, I've been joking in Overwatch. I keep pressing the B button to use the store. There's no store in Overwatch, you know. But I keep doing it. But in a game like Overwatch or Halo or traditional shooters, if you're not doing well, there's nothing that's going to change between the second and third round. You're just probably going to lose that one too, and then it's going to be over. And hopefully
Right.
your next match will be good. But because the money works in a certain way, and like you said, you can really feel like you're customizing your character with the update that added the colors for the weapons that you mentioned. In that same
Yeah.
update, they expanded the number of perks that every single character can get from 6 to 8. And that made a huge difference. Where,
Yes.
like,
And
yeah,
some of them are like crazy significant. Like for Vi, like her one at the very end is like increase your toxic damage by like 35%. And it's
Oh
like,
my god.
fuck, that is so much. Like, because usually my thing with Vi was like, that acid does not do enough damage. Well,
mhm.
guess what? Now it can.
Now it does.
And there's like another one in there that's like your damage over time is increased by 10. So you like start getting more like you really start specking these characters. Also, another thing that they updated that is phenomenal is when you use a boost, a timed boost, like a here's an hour boost for your XP, that only counts in game. It only counts when you're actually playing the game, and
Oh,
not when
not
you're just
when you're queued up or in lobby.
yes.
That's
So
nice.
like I'm staring at it right now because it's been open for a while and I still have 21 minutes.
That's awesome. I love
Yeah,
that.
That's nice.
Yes.
That's how it should be.
So it's like that is great. I also because I so many times that you pop a experience boost and it's gone when you open the game again because you popped it, and right as you popped it, everybody's like, "Yeah, I think this is gonna be my last one."
You're like, what? No.
And you're like,
Halo.
yeah.
Halo.
Yeah. So I just there's something that's intriguing to me, and I'll see what you guys think about this because this might break the game, but this weapon mastery thing that they're doing, they've made it so once you've mastered the weapon fully, you can then move it to any other rogue.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say if you wanted to solve your LMG problem. I was going to say that you can just master out the LMG on someone and then move it to, whoever you want to use it on.
But that still requires you to get a lot of kills with the LMG.
Yeah. The other thing I was thinking is like, what if they do that with the perks?
Oh.
What if they allow you to actually start building the character the way you would actually like it? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I know what you mean, but knowing potentially what your opponents can have is vitally important. Because like, let's substitute the perks. Yeah, but that's I'm okay with the guns.
The gun's a gun. Yeah.
Like to some extent, like that surprise is kind of fun. But if it was like, oh, suddenly every character has access to body armor, no, I don't.
Almost come back.
Like I want there to be some characters that are weaker because Ronin with her like she's a ninja. If she was able to get body armor, nah, dog, I'm not here for it. If there were other characters who could revive more quickly, I think it'd be OP. Like everybody would get helping hand to revive too quickly. Like from a building perspective, it sounds dope, but from the enemy perspective, I'm like, dude, the entire enemy team.
You can only exchange the rarities that match. So like if it's a green rarity, you can swap those. Blue rarity, swap those. Purple rarity, swap those.
But those are different on each character. So Ronin, her the bounce back one where it says, your health regen starts more quickly and you heal a little bit more from all sources. Hers is legendary. But it's legendary because it decreases the time by like 4 seconds, Whereas another character might get bounced back at the beginning and it only increases it by 2 seconds.
Like I said, I was wondering, I was like, this is interesting because what if they did this? But I was like, I feel like this might break it. But either way, the fact that they are making these type, how old is this game now? It's been out like 2 years, right? At least.
3.
Well, almost officially, because there was an early access for like ever. So I
forgot about
say
that.
Maybe like a year officially.
They have Rambo in it now, all kinds of shit.
Don't remind me.
This game
technically
is ridiculous.
Seeker, but
it's only gonna get better and better. Like the changes that they've made, I'm like, this is insane. Like when I hopped in and played, I was like, this is crazy that they've done this.
Yeah.
Just because when I played it before, I was like, oh, this is what the game is, Yeah. And now that they've expanded the perks system and added weapon mastery and the rarities on everything, it's like really, I think has made the game much better. It was already great. So it's like, don't sleep on Rogue Company. It's dope. And we're going to show off a shit ton of it any minute now.
Yeah, we can hop over there in a few minutes. I'm really enjoying where that game has gotten. I know the main criticism it gets when people see it is that it's a third-person shooter, and I've played The Last of Us multiplayer.
Complains about that.
Well, because it's new, and when you have your comfort zone, if you've played first-person shooters for so long. No, I mean the only other third-person shooter I've played, I've played Gears, but I was never good at it. I
Keep playing.
okay at it. The Last of Us multiplayer was fun, but very janky. That game is a third-person game, but the multiplayer is the only part that you can really compare.
Well, Fortnite is third person, isn't it?
It is, but I've never
Fortnite.
played it.
Mhm.
And a lot of the people
Oh,
in our
really?
I mean, I've played it for like 5 minutes, but I didn't love it when I did play it because
Mm.
the main reason it had the same feeling I get from Destiny or Borderlands, where it feels like I'm just like shooting at something, and there's a health bar going down, but there's not like feedback. You know, I feel like I'm just hitting a sponge. I'm shooting a bullet sponge. And that's not necessarily a fair criticism with Fortnite. They've done a whole bunch to improve that game from when I first played it. I just don't think I'm interested in Fortnite in general. I'm more interested now that they have the no building mode. But yeah, I mean, jumping into a third-person shooter for the first time can seem intimidating. But so Hot Rod and Shanny Pack in Discord are regulars who we play a bunch of stuff with.
Yep.
They both just downloaded Rogue Company for the first time this past week. And both of them were kind of nervous. Hot Rod was like, I don't know, I've never played a game like this. It feels like, I'm going to need some warm-up games to even figure out what I'm doing. And we got into our first game, and Hot Rod was at the bottom of our team, but he was pretty much equal with everybody, and he was beating every single person on the enemy team. And I was like, dude, you're going to be just fine. Like, you're crushing it.
It's very it's like it's easy to get a hold of and like understand and like not be terrible at.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I have nothing but good games because that is not true.
Yeah,
Strategy is you definitely have to like sometimes, especially with Sigrid, because I have the shield, I'm just like run in there and fuck shit up because you're gonna that's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that goes very, very, very poorly. Very poorly. So then you just have to start making slight changes, but it's so easy to like wrap your brain around and understand what's happening. And it's great. I love it.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
I think all hero shooters are kind of like that, where once you find like your niche, then you're like good to go. Like I've been playing Lancer for like the last 10 years. And when Deadpool joined us the one time and he picked up Trench, like I've never seen like a Trench main ever
Same.
Yeah,
in the
and he
history
was
of the game.
good at it.
He was
Yeah.
killing it.
Yeah.
I was like, Trench is good?
Right. And then we
Like,
all,
what
as a joke,
timeline is this?
everybody
Like, who
switched.
said you could do this?
Yeah.
Who said that?
Deadpool the other night was running as canon, and he was just murderlating people.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
murderlating.
That does not surprise
Yeah,
me.
he's really good at that game. What was it? Carlos, were you the one who said this? Somebody said the best advice they had for a new player was to, in your first like 5 or 6 games, just play a different character each time. If that wasn't you, it was play 5 or 6 games, a different character each time until you figure out what you want. Don't pick one character and try to get good at it. Just play a bunch of them and then see kind of what works for you.
It's true though, because it'll fit into your instincts as a shooter.
Yeah,
So.
and especially because certain characters only have access to certain types of guns, and you might discover that Chris doesn't like LMGs. I love LMGs. You know why? Because I can hold the trigger down and close my eyes, and even if I don't hit anybody, they're gonna be so scared and they're gonna be looking at me because my gun is so just impossibly loud that I get to be the tank that I've always wanted to be. But you might be somebody. I mean, Deadpool was so good with Trench because he was very good with the marksman rifle, the DMR. And he was the same in Halo. So yeah, just play until you find something you want. I mean, that's good advice for I think any hero shooter.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's definitely advice that I ignore. I just go purely on looks because I don't know anything about guns. So I was just like, Lancer? Oh, okay. She hot. I'm doing it. All right, cool. She run track? Oh, she just like my mom. All right, we doing it. We're here. And then that's what I went with until Dahlia came out. And I dabbled in Dahlia. And then Glimpse came out. And I'm like,
Do you guys have any
options.
idea how many rogues are available right now?
Like 20? Is that right?
24?
20.
24.
Boom. Because it's
That's
an
a
array.
lot of characters. Yeah.
They are
Wow,
constantly
I can't believe that
balancing.
Lancer comes with so many costumes. Oh, that's so cool.
I did buy the
She
battle
does
pass
both.
last night because I was like, I'm playing enough, and I don't need like 1 or 2 big fancy skins. I just need some regular stuff to slap on my characters.
Yep.
And I always like the Apex battle pass, so I'm hoping this one treats me right. But
And that's like something too that like I don't engage with at all in this game is the melee. And I
oh,
know that
Chris,
there's people that just fucking
Uh-oh.
go
You said the
crazy
secret
on-
word.
talk to me about melee.
I said the secret word.
Melee is dope. The nice thing is if you're playing with me and I die, which I will, go ahead and just pick up my weapon, you know? And if you don't even want to swing it, throw it, because turns out throwing the weapons is fantastic. The upgrades that when you buy an upgraded melee weapon, just like any of the other guns, the upgrade stays with the gun, not the character. So, like, if I upgrade my throwing axe, it does 125 damage. It's going to one-shot almost every character. So when I die and drop a throwing axe, you just pick that son of a bitch up. You just throw it in the middle of some enemies. If you miss, who cares? It wasn't even yours. You're not going to miss it.
And you literally know that Tegan's gonna pick up your fucking axe when you miss, so
Yup.
just do it.
Speed run!
Speed run! Well, how about
just
this?
whipping in the air.
Let's take a short little break, and then we'll hop into Rogue Company, if that sounds good to you guys.
Yeah.
So let me do a little outro here. So, like I said at the top of the show, this is now the Party Invite show, which is part of our, the podcast that you guys know and love from before. But it's also now gaming and whatever else we want to do for the rest of the stream, for the rest of the show. So, for those of you that are going to be listening to the audio version of this later, that is still going to come at you every week on your feed on Spotify or your favorite podcatcher. But if you want to catch the full show, including the Rogue Company we're about to play, check us out on Twitch and YouTube. Twitch, we're twitch.tv/partyinviteshow, and you can find everything on our website at partyinvite.games. Carlos, do you want to say anything else before we go?
My little last word thing was if you missed Demo Duo stream last night, that would have been Tuesday. I will highly recommend that you go check out the VOD because it was banging. So it was Demo Duo, myself, and the lovely Bats, who is also a part of our community. We were playing Rift Tracks, which is a fantastic game, very much in the vein of Jackbox. So I highly recommend, in general, going to Demo Duo, so twitch.tv/Demo Duo. But go check out their VOD from May 17th, and you'll see a really good time that we had playing Rift Tracks. I highly
very
recommend
funny.
it.
And the Rift Tracks account showed up during the stream. You gotta love that.
Yeah, devs are cool.
Yeah.
Senpai noticed me.